Well, after what we've just talked about, I'm not going to say it's a downer, but this will feel a bit more kind of low key. It's politicians talking about infrastructure, but there's something that I really wanted
sweet infrastructure.
something I really wanted to put out there, because I only really learned about it watching breakfast this morning, that under Labor, the RMA was deemed not fit for purpose. So they changed it. And then National came in and cancelled the changes that Labor had made. And then they realised that what they had left in the RMA was not fit for purpose. So now they are fast tracking changes to the RMA again. It feels a bit bizarre. And Kieran and the Bush were on breakfast this morning having a bit of a talk about that whole thing. And let's have a listen.
How do we sum up this government's new approach? Build, baby, build?
Well, that's the aim. We've made it very hard in this country to actually get stuff done and build things. It's too hard to build houses, too hard to build energy, too hard to build roads.
It's funny how it's too hard to build houses, but was there 12,000 state houses built under Labor in the last year? Was it 7,000? What was the number? So apparently it was too hard to build houses, but literally hundreds and hundreds of them were getting built each month by the last Labor government. You guys have built how many in 14 months? No, 18 months. Zero. Okay, zero. But they didn't find it hard to build houses. So I'm wondering what the Bish is talking about here.
So we've got a pretty ambitious program of reform. It does pick up on some of the ideas that were being advanced by the last government. So I've written to Labor and the Greens and said, look, let's sit down and see where we can work together on this stuff. I'm genuine about that. I do want to try and build a stable.
Well, Kieran's got a very interesting point here. And also, just a little teaser, the best line any politician has ever said ever comes up in the next clip. But the point that also comes out in this situation is bipartisanness sounds good, having a bipartisan agreement. But I guess Kieran's saying that what happens is the National Party want bipartisan rulings by going, here's what we want, sign it. That's how National sees the bipartisan agreement, where really there has to be give and take and negotiation.
Set of laws which we can all get behind, because I think everyone acknowledges the RMA has failed. It's now about what we do to replace it. There's a lot of devil in the detail, and there's quite a lot of expertise on the opposition side from Rachel Brooking and Julianne Genter as well, who've done quite a bit of time, spent quite a bit of time thinking about these things. I do want to work with them, try and get some good laws in place. Very happy to work with my mate up there in Auckland as well on that as well, because infrastructure is a big part of it as well.
You'll be pleased to hear that, Kieran, but I think
when he called me his mate.
Your boss, Chris Hipkins, said the last time we extended the hand of bipartisanship with the National Party, they took a dump on it. That's not stock rate, is it?
Yeah, well, it's also fair. I mean, look, what do they mean by bipartisanship? Because in fairness to Bishop, he has tried now and again. His colleagues have not. And so the attitude has often been, if you agree with us, we'll work with you. That's not bipartisanship. And this is something that we have to work on. Let's not forget we did replace the RMA. It's not advancing, it was advanced. This crowd got rid of it, went back to the old RMA, then said the RMA isn't working, so we need fast track. Oh, now we're going to replace it.
That's actually exactly what we've said about this government, everything. In opposition, they say government's not, this is a perfect example, government's not working. They get into government, they break government, and then they step back and go, see, we told you it's not working, and they change it. So it's exactly what we've talked about. They've complained about the RMA in opposition, so they got it and repealed it straight away. You know how they have a habit of repealing things or getting rid of things straight away without having the new solution, a la everything, including the ferries? It's another example of that. And can I say, the reason actually, I'm feeling a bit different about this piece now, because it feels a bit more kind of, they feel, Kieran's like a smiling assassin here, because he's just like, yep, but it's like fact, and actually he's nailing it here. He's nailing it. So we'll let him keep going.
Have to work on. Let's not forget we did replace the RMA. It's not advancing, it was advanced. This crowd got rid of it, went back to the old RMA, then said the RMA isn't working, so we need fast track. Oh, now we're going to replace it. But we still need to work together to get it right. So if the government is willing to meet us in the middle and be a genuine attempt at trying to find something that will survive successive governments, we're 100% up for it. But if it's simply a case of walking into his office and saying, you tell us what you agree with, and we're going to crack on with the rest anyway, it's not really working together. This is really important. We've tried for too many times to get this right. If the minister wants to do this properly, we're up for it.
So, Chris, Kieran says, you're his mate, he can work with you. You need to get your other mates on board in the National Party.
Well,
Can you do that?
Didn't say he was my mate.
I feel hurt and offended. No. Yeah, look, I think.
Well, that's not the best line. There's a better line coming in the next clip. But yes, a smiling assassin.
No. Yeah, look, I think we can meet in the middle on a whole range of different things. Look, we came to government with an agenda, with a manifesto that we're committed to implementing. So people would expect that. We are going to replace the RMA. But as I said before, the devil is in the detail on this stuff. And there's a lot of areas where I think we actually agree. Standardised zones, for example. There's too many zones in this country. That's a big reason why our district plans are incredibly complex, very expensive. You shouldn't need a PhD in planning law to understand council district plans. I think everyone agrees on that. Getting the details right of that stuff really makes a difference. I think we can work together in a bipartisan way. I've extended the offer. We're arranging briefings with the officials and the people who are working on this at the expert level. So let's start there and see how we go. I think when there's a will, there's a way, and certainly from my part, there is a genuine desire to get that right.
Interesting as well to hear Kieran kind of giving some plaudits to him. Kind of going, yep. In all fairness, the Bush has helped. He's tried to do things together.
I'm going to say that from the Bush's side as well. For him to actually name Rachel Brooking, Julian Magenta, and Kieran as like they're people that he can work with. This parliamentary term has been defined by just toxicity. It's just nice to see that. How true it is, we'll find out. But I'm going to acknowledge that it was nice to hear it, whether it's true or not.
Let me also just say,
Bish looks like someone that smells of tobacco, like all the time.
Well, it's probably in his blood, quite literally, from his previous life.
Do you think he gets his jackets dry cleaned, or do you think he just burns them and buys another one?
I think so. Burns them and buys another one. If you're a fan of Kieran, of course, want to remind you that this Sunday night, 8 p.m, is the March episode of the Leftist Collective. Shane Tapo, Kieran's there, Samar's there, I'm there, Craig Rennie there as well. 8 p.m. on Sunday night. Don't know how long we've got Kieran for. He's come along as the guest. Everyone else is on the panel. I don't know. He might hang around for the whole time. He might hang around for a bit of it. So if you want to have a part of the live stream, that'll be live at 8 o'clock on Sunday night. There's your lineup for this week. Right. So the next clip, Chewie, which is a bit of a nothing clip, but I'm just being honest with you. It's only 44 seconds. In my opinion, Kieran McAnulty has one of the best responses from any politician ever. And it's just them talking about where should the National Stadium be. I know most people don't really care about this, but National Stadium, Eden Park, or is going to be a new waterfront stadium. And unfortunately, they've voted for Eden Park. It should have been absolutely a new waterfront stadium in Auckland, but whatever. That's what they've done.
Take notes if it's as good as Pat is indicating. This might be on the end of year test.
Yeah, actually, that's a very good point. We should put some notes there. And it's Kieran's response to that question. Here we go.
Chris, I know you've also been sports minister, so what do you prefer, Eden Park or the new one at the waterfront for Auckland?
Oh, I don't have a fixed view. Auckland's going through a process at their own initiation, and wait and see what the council comes up with today. I'm not close enough to the debate that's been run by Auckland, so I'm going to reserve judgment till I see where things land.
Kieran, can you give us something a bit more definitive?
Well, my preference for a national stadium is Memorial Park in Masterton. Outside of that, the issue really is an Auckland issue. I mean,
that's very good.
Voting on it today.
That's very good. It's very funny. He is genuinely a funny man. Yeah, it's very good.
That was very good.
It was very good. It was very good. And I don't care about that topic. I just wanted to play that very funny piece of content he provided for us.